to a GSL. Living life that easy.
What's up, guys? It's Tasteosis. We're back here for season 2 of this year. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well, Tasteless. I am so happy that we are back. Oh, our Pants 2 show. Sick. Okay.
Yeah, we were wondering about that. We got a new standing desk down here.
Yeah.
We requested this. We feel like we project our voices better. Standing. That's what we do at BlizzCon. That's right. Better for our posture. We've been having back problems sitting down. But
and now when we go on camera without knowing it, you won't catch us going
that's right.
like that anymore.
You'll catch me just leaning on Dan like this. But we didn't know our pants were going to show up in this shot. But we kind of match, actually.
Yeah, no, I got very lucky with the shirt they picked out for me. Because I happen to wear a pink pair of shorts
pink pants and actually making that work. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well done.
I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
Normally I don't match at all, but here I am. But yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked because we have Code A back.
That's right.
It feels like GSL just ended. This is one of their quickest times in between seasons,
It is a bit of an odd feeling. Normally, for me personally, I feel like there's a little bit more build-up, like psycally, emotionally, to
where I'm like, God, I am so dry on StarCraft.
That's right, where I'm thinking, I haven't quite casted enough yet. And that goes on for what? Normally you have about 3 weeks off, 4 weeks off, something like that. But we just rushed right into it this time here at the GSL. So it's good to be back, regardless of how fast it was. We're going to jump right back into this. We just had a fantastic season last season. If you missed the finals, definitely check that out as well.
Yeah, obviously it was a fantastic finals with Zest taking it down. This thing is not on there very strong.
Dangerous.
We keep on putting our hands down, and I'm holy! I just actually saved that.
We might
you got to
stop these cups.
Those were almost falling off, you know. I just saved
Is this even a table, or is this like a circular piece of wood simply balanced on one of those movie theater poles?
Yeah, you know what I think happened is that Mr. Che went down to the junkyard and like he got like the spool for cable and then like rolled it in here and stuff.
One of those ones that's a giant, the giant cable spool.
Like, this is how we'll do it.
That's funny.
This is how the English broadcast will work.
I'm going to say this right now. These are going to fall. If not today, at some point in time.
Well, our thing for the mics is
we
right there.
We could make it a little bit more complicated by having them stacked up like this.
That's true danger right there, Tasteless.
That's why they call me Tasteless the Danger Caster.
Oh, look. I guess we now know when Pro League starts. That's really good.
I actually already knew that, but I didn't tell you it was a secret.
What a jerk.
That's right.
What a jerk face you are. And what is this? You guys have 3 days a week of Pro League? That's
yeah,
awesome.
For the start we do. 3 days a week.
6 days a week for a little bit there of StarCraft 2 in Korea, of course. But there you have our Code A schedule. Star League going to be starting up next week as well. Korean StarCraft getting right back into things.
Yeah. So you guys have a very busy week coming up here. Not this week. In 2 weeks now, we got a lot of StarCraft, so definitely mark that in your calendar. If you want to nerd out for about 3 weeks of just nonstop StarCraft 6 days a week, you got it.
I'm stoked about that. This is our map pool, guys. We have 4 maps returning from last season. You know those 4 pretty well. Maybe you don't know Rackshare that well. Don't worry. It won't be played very often. But the other 3 maps are ladder maps. King Sejong Station, Frost, and Frozen Temple. Gisato is going to go ahead and draw on Frozen Temple to show you guys about
Gisato. We got a telestrator in here.
We
all got new toys this season.
Well,
come on, Gisato.
Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly what he's going to do here.
He's just yapping away, but he's gonna get on this soon.
Yeah, he's actually on like an iPad, I think.
All right, here we go.
It's like there's the main, then you go down here, and that's how you get to the other base. Thanks, Gisato. You've played at least one game on this map. Now, one little change that just happened, if you haven't played the ladder in the last week or so, they took out the watchtowers in the center, so that's something to keep in mind. No more watchtowers in that location.
Here's a main.
Yeah.
Here is an expansion, and it kind of looks like
a donut next to a munchkin.
I was thinking of a fat guy sitting in a chair, with the TV up watching on the left.
An upside down balloon. But yeah, so anyways, a funny thing about this map is the natural, it's a tiny little choke with no ramp going up to the natural. So it's like you can definitely see some all-ins there. Where he just checked off, that would normally be your 3rd and 4th. There's another base north of there, but it's like really undefended and further away.
It's definitely not.
And it doesn't guard your main. You don't really want to take that one. Artosis would take that one for a bit. It was bad.
Over here in the bottom right.
Oh my God, yeah, we do.
Look at that, and he's like, "Whoa, Codas!" with his mouth open.
And now he wrote 21.
21. What does it mean? We got a Bible code for Artosis.
Yeah, or maybe that's 2.1. I don't even know. He's like, here's where the watchtowers were, but they aren't anymore.
That's why he used a different color.
A barely different color. Wow, I can't believe you even caught that.
If I were him, I would have gone with a red, personally, not an orange. But, you know, it's the first time using the Telestrator. Whoa!
All right, this is one way to get from one main to the other main.
Now look at here. It kind of looks like it's like a whale kind of swimming up.
Oh, yeah, I see it, actually.
Yeah.
I see it. Oh, my God. And, like, he's got, like, there's, like, a little tiny fin, and there's an eye, and there's a mouth.
Yeah, yeah, there you see it. And he's actually eating a donut at the bottom right.
Yeah, he's going after that
he's
donut
going
hard.
Well, that's a big donut. And to find that in the ocean, that's no small feat. Okay, now, what is he highlighting now?
Well, this is some airspace, I guess.
Yeah.
Around. Oh, yeah. Okay, these are like towers that you can't fly around correctly. The towers that you see, those are actually air blockers,
yeah,
and those are
for the air.
Those are really weird. The first time you run into those with a prism, you're like, wait a minute. So yeah, you have to go around those. Kind of makes like less dead space in certain air areas, so you can chase things down a little bit better, I guess.
Well, I'm glad we have this feature here. This is fun for us to banter about, but it also, I think we're really trying to step it up each season here at the GSL. So this is really nice. We every season gets a little bit better, guys.
Yes,
and by the way, I know a lot of people may not be informed that Code A is starting. A lot of my friends I just talked to online with and play games with, they were all really surprised to find out that I was actually going to the studio. But today, assuming I had the day off, but no, I'm going to be here. So definitely tell your friends to join in if they don't know about this. Now, what is that he's circled here?
Well, I don't know, because he went through a funny area to go there. He's like, well, I mean, if you have, like, Reapers, you could go down here and jump up there and then hit the rocks. It's like, no, GSL, no one would ever do that. Anyways, guys, here is our racial distribution. As you see, the players that dropped down from Code S, the players that did get in from the preliminary. Definitely a very good Code A that we have this time. Not like last time, though, because we already have a bunch of people that were already qualified. We have 8 seeds left over and whatnot. So, yeah, a very, very even overall, the racial distribution, as it generally is in StarCraft 2.
And we're going to see as we get further along here in the season, and especially in Code S, how everything does balance out.
Yeah.
Last season we had a pretty shockingly balanced distribution.
Yeah.
I believe throughout the it was
pretty much round
round
8,
of 8,
the Zergs dropped off.
Yeah.
So that was the problem. But yeah, we'll see how they do this time. As far as crazy matches in Code A, the only one that's like, because last season, remember, Zest 3-0'd Maru, and then we didn't get Maru in there, and he's like one of the best players in the world, so that was kind of silly. We are having something like that happen again. We do have Innovation versus Dark in Code A, so one of those two will not be in Code S, and that's going to be a little bit of a heartbreaker.
For today's matches, we're going to start it out with a ZVZ Curious versus Impact. Up next, a Creator versus Bio, Protoss versus Zerg there. And to end it all, it'll be Bunny versus True, a Terran versus Zerg. Good day if you're a Zerg player. You're going to learn all the matchups.
Yeah, certainly you are. Any match here you like more than the others?
Creator versus Biel is the one I'm most looking forward to.
Creator versus Biel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that could be all right.
I'm curious to see how Biel
I think
does.
Bunny True should be pretty fun. Like, I think Bunny's definitely favored there, but, you know, True has shown sparks of brilliance in the past, so I'm kind of excited about that match.
Taking a closer look here, we see Curious. Now, this guy is as old school as you can get in StarCraft 2 terms. He's been around for so long. He's so solid. He's never been a champion, but he has been somebody, particularly in Code A.
Yeah.
He's the king.
He's such a part of Code A. You know, in Game of Thrones, those trees that have faces? If Code A was a tree, he'd be the face.
Yeah,
because
that's a good way
like
to
he
put
is just always in Code A, almost always getting out of Code A. Whereas this poor guy has not been in Code S yet. You know, he's a very strong player.
Was he in there one season?
I don't think so. He's been in Code A a bunch.
Maybe I'm actually thinking of a Code A day that I casted of him, and it was actually...
Maybe he made it in like one time to Code S. I don't think so. But anyways,
Charlie, I want to say a cool fact right away.
Yeah.
Impact has 2 ladder accounts that are top 10 on the Korean server right now.
It's pretty crazy. He's in great shape right now. Let's not forget he did win a DreamHack, and also he is in that absolutely awesome StarCraft documentary that has Jadon as the main focus. Impact is actually a minor focus in that. So definitely like a very talented, strong player. But
absolutely. I guess the real question is how well can he perform?
Will he have an impact on this season?
Oh, wow, look at you.
I'm curious to find out.
The dad jokes. Tosis is back. So, yeah, we're going to have Curious versus Impact here. It is going to be a best of 5 since it is Code A. As these guys are going to fight to get into that Code S spot. Here you can see the maps they vetoed. And we're going to start this all off tonight on the map, King Sage on Station.
All right. Best StarCraft 2 map ever made, by the way.
Yeah, I think so.
It's having to be tweaked a little bit here and there due to the new units and stuff. There were a couple spots where Liberators were unhittable.
Yeah,
which that was pretty fun. But was in Heart of the Storm the best map we've ever had. So I'm hoping that it kind of brings up. It's had a good run in Pro League so far.
Legacy is such a different game that I'm kind of glad we're bringing maps like this that work pretty well.
Yeah.
To see what it looks like when we have the different iteration of StarCraft 2.
Well, Tasteless, I do believe, sir, that it is time for Game 1 of Day 1 of Season 2 of Code A.
Season 2, Code A.
We're marching on.
In the bottom right, in the blue, our Zerg player, 1 of 2.
AfreecaTV, Curious.
This guy very successful in Code A, pretty much a fixture in Code S. In the upper left, with 2 ladder accounts in the top 10 on the KR server, he is
SK Telecom T1, Impact.
Yeah, Curious is right up there as well. It's exciting, especially like this time of year, to watch what those ladder accounts are looking like. For instance, Stork right now is top 25 on the Korean ladder. And he has a Code A match coming up, so that's going to be just awesome. You can tell he's really practicing hard as well. And definitely, having high ladder ranks in Korea, basically for all games, does have correlation to showing up and playing well in the other leagues. Kier was number 1 on the ladder that season. He got top 4 like a while back. And, we've seen that time and time again.
We got a ZVZ on our hands already.
Yep.
Let's see if these guys deviate from each other, or if we're going to have 2 mirrored builds for a little bit here.
Well, certainly you could, mute it and hear me say, let's look at the production tab, because, ZVZ early game, when they do line up like this, we are waiting for that first moment where someone does deviate, because the build orders are pretty well mapped out. So... until someone wants to be aggressive versus not be aggressive, that's what we're basically taking a look at.
It's interesting. This is the closest we've been to this stage when an actual match is going on, because whenever we're here...
Looks way sicker down here.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty cool. Normally, guys, if you're just not tuning in, we normally are casting from that balcony area, which I don't mind casting from either. I kind of like it up there. It's kind of cozy. But we were trying this out down here on the lower stage. Wow, our stage looks pretty damn good.
And do you know what else?
What?
It's actually easier to see the screen than the big screen than the little screens that we actually cast off of.
Just facing this thing here.
Yeah, and then we can just look at the backs of everyone's heads while they watch as well.
If anybody turns around, I'm like, hey, focus on the game.
No, turn around.
Turn around.
Hi.
We got to shoot spitballs at people and stuff. Look who it is, esports celebs. I brought my mouse pad, guys. Sign my mouse pad.
Notice that they don't have English headsets.
That's right.
And are no longer welcome to the GSL studio.
Right. They're trying to not mess up their game knowledge right now. So we got a Baneling's Nest almost finishing. We got a lot of lings being pumped out here for Impact.
Yeah, we do have Curious making quite a few lings in response to this.
That's
Both
right.
of them taking their 3rd base. Is that speed upgrade going to finish at almost the exact same millisecond?
Looks like we got almost the exact same millisecond. That's pretty bold, Artosis.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah. I mean, millisecond, that's
Was that a thousandth of a second? What's a tenth of a second? Decasecond.
Decasecond.
Those finished at almost the exact same decasecond.
That's more like it. We've had enough lings made here. We should definitely have a skirmish. But nice spotting here by Curious, denying some of those banelings there before they can even get in here to do that damage. This may thwart the attack coming in here from Impact.
I tell you, those banelings just completely slaughtered there by Curious. Very good micro, and in fact, look, this is why I would choose Curious to win this match most of the time. We have Impact trying to get aggressive, trying to make something happen, and so far, this has been like a total dud attack.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's done a really good job of just keeping this back, and nice job. Actually, looks like he actually denies one more baneling.
Yeah.
Really good job here by Curious. I'm quite impressed.
Yeah, very strong micro. And look at this, how he sits on the ramp with the banelings for a big chunk of this, trying to wait to see if Impact wants to jump up. But Impact picks off a queen, so that's pretty good.
It is a drone count and a slight favor here for Curious, which is not exactly a good fact here for Impact, considering he hasn't really done too much damage. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Is he going to get this hatchery down here?
I don't think he will.
No,
he's like bruising it up a little bit, but Curious is doing a good enough job, kind of spreading out his lings, spreading out his banes, and zoning everything back.
Curious has always been very good at these skirmishes early on in ZVZ. He's normally not somebody that gets trumped early game.
Yeah.
In ZVZ, right away, he's not somebody who just,
I feel like
oopsie daisy, I lost on my lings.
I just feel like he's a very solid ZVZ player overall. Like, if you're going to beat him, it normally is going to be a little bit later on.
Whoa!
Not necessarily the flashiest micro or aggression, but good enough to hold on. We do have Curious kind of pushing up across the map right now. He has quite a few Zerglings, bringing a couple Banes as well.
He wants to potentially counterattack here. We have Roaches coming out right now. For Impact, and Curious's Roach is a little bit further behind, but it does seem like Curious already has everything ready to bounce us back. Now, the Roaches coming in here, that's going to be the really important part of this, because sometimes with Roaches, misclick there by Impact. Actually, that's kind of important early on like this.
Yeah, definitely got to be careful about that. We do have a lot of Roaches marching across the map right now, and they are almost there, but we have Curious making quite a few Roaches of his own for defense.
I believe Curious is going to be okay. He's got enough Roaches coming out here. I think this syncs up nicely.
Yeah, he's got to just slow this down a little tiny bit right now. He is actually going around with his Zerglings. If he can pick off those things, oh my God.
That's bad. Curious lost that.
That went very poorly for Curious to lose that many lings to a Bane, and now he's just got his Roaches that are piling out. This might be a situation which Impact can win.
Yeah, absolutely, especially after that Baneling connection there. I thought Curious might have been able to last a little bit longer there. When the lings stream in like this is why they make lings behind the Roaches. The lings get over there in time, and then they tank the damage for the Roaches in the front, so the Roaches in the back can actually deal it. Now let's see here. Drones have been pulled. It's very important to keep these alive for as long as possible.
Well, he's lost just 3 so far. He's still actually up in drones, so if he ends up holding this, he will be fine. But more and more lings are coming down, rallying across this map.
He is spreading this attack actually kind of nicely here. This queen actually staying alive. Pretty big deal down here. And it looks like he's... last second he does not deny that Ravager. I thought he might have had that there.
A little bit of micro there, getting hit by a Bile, but will take out that Ravager as well. And now he's lost some more drones, so they're about even right now as far as that drone economy goes.
I got to say, this has been a really good hold here by Curious. I actually thought he was going to be in a lot more trouble once those lings, I think it was, like 9 lings or something like that, got detonated by the big ling.
Yeah, considering that, he did a good job to hold it. If he hadn't lost those lings like that, as soon as the banelings are picked off, his lings come in, and he cleans this up 100 times more quickly. So, good hold here by Curious, and he immediately re-drones. So despite the fact that Impact knocked him down to the same drone level, he's right back in the lead again.
Okay, the lings now coming up here, but with banelings present, Impact can do absolutely nothing to affect Curious in this situation. It's just too risky. He's making some more Ravagers back at home here. And right now the drone count is, I believe, excuse me, it's actually still even. I thought for a second, I misread that. I thought Impact was ahead, but no, it's still neck and neck right now.
Yeah, well, Impact does have these Ravagers mostly just to push away Overlords for the time being. Both sides starting to make a few more units here. They're going to want to make sure that they have a pretty solid economy, but look at this, Impact coming with a couple Banes. Ooh, nice move there, taking down 4 drones.
Yeah, 4 kills there, nicely done. Curious beginning to press forward now, trying to get Impact to back away and also just monitor where exactly these lings are going to be. What do you think of the Ravagers that were made back at home? Was that a good time to make that?
Yeah.
Think so?
I like them because they
Just
get
for
to
the
push out
Overlord?
Overlords.
Okay.
And, like, you're going to want the Ravagers anyways. And, you start getting some biles off. You start pressing the Overlords back. And the blinder you can make your opponent in a ZVZ, the better it is for you.
Yeah, that's true. Better attacks later on. Looks like one Ravager is going to go down. That's not good.
Yeah, it's a little bit sloppy
Impact's going to have a little bit more, at least psychological pressure on Curious here, since Curious, like you were saying, a little bit more in the dark. Impact been pretty much the aggressor this entire time. Curious in a very defensive position here.
Right now, we actually have Curious going up for a much quicker layer, whereas Impact, once again, mass slings, mass banes being produced. So he wants to do another strong push coming up here, and he's going to have to get something done with this, because if he doesn't, then the layer tech, the fact that he's going to be able to do things like get roach speed, is going to pay off hugely for Curious.
All right, Curious with a nice arc over here. Baneling spilling forward. Good targeting, though, by Curious. And more Banelings coming in from behind. He has to let those slip through.
More Lings coming from the side here from Impact, but Curious seems to just have enough right now. As long as he dodges those biles, or maybe if he eats the biles and just attack moves, he'll hold it as well.
Good backing off there. It's actually a dozen more Lings being made right now for Curious. He may attempt to have some counter aggression here. Worker count just slightly in favor right now of Curious. Curious doing a really good job balancing defense and economy here. He's making like the exact bare minimum amount to hold off these attacks while squeezing out drones. That's the difference between a good player and a great player, really, is if you know how to just keep that whole thing evened out so that you're safe. Because a good player might just overmake, and then the game's completely back to normal. Whereas a bad player, what am I talking about? A bad player? Sorry, I just got handed a sheet of paper, guys. I was like,
said bad player.
They just handed me the map.
Tasis just reads anything you hand him. It's the weirdest thing in the whole world.
I have this entire cast written on the palm of my hand, believe it or not.
He's like, Tasis Burgundy?
This is the GSL?
All right, so roach speed on the way for both players. Curious is not as quick as I wish it was, considering how much faster his layer was. So a little side note there for Curious maybe making a tiny mistake. But right now they're about even. A slightly bigger army for Curious out. He did get his drones up a little bit quicker. So able to start that production. And it looks like a Spire for Curious on the way. And I really like this. When you're going heavy Roach Ravager on both sides, you kind of have to stand Roach Ravager, and Mutas are a great counter to that.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. So as that Spire comes along here, we're going to see if there's anything Impact's going to try to do to get in here and possibly punish him for that. The Spire is actually probably the weirdest thing to try to time out, at least at this phase in ZVZ. Yeah. Is how much can you bank up, because you get a lot of leverage out of that if you get away with saving the larva versus, do you get pressured into just, making enough to defend here, and then that has low utility, and it's easy to scale that out for the opposing player later on.
Certainly it is. Now we do have for Impact the Hydralisk Den on the way, also taking a fourth base, which we haven't seen yet here for Curious. But Curious definitely has kind of the advantage as far as army goes, and the tech with the Spire about to finish.
Yeah, here comes that Spire now. There's about 700 gas saved up over here for Curious. Curious looks like he's trying to possibly apply some pressure, decides it's probably not worth it after seeing that. Now Impact is getting the fourth base as we speak, so this is going to be the moment where the game is going to go in one of two directions. And we're going to see who has the stronger decision-making at this point in time, as well as the execution.
All right, those 9 Mutas coming out, man. I am really liking the place that Curious is in right now. He's going to be able to fly those Mutas over, and there's no real defense against that right now. He can just start picking off Ravagers. He can go after Roaches to kill the army. He can go after drones. This is going to be very tough. Look at this. Immediately, when he sees that the Mutas are coming, which is very late for Impact, Hydra's on the way, and Spore.
Now, is it going to be in the right place, though? That's the big question. This is actually a large area to defend, and the Mutas can roam pretty freely around in this area like this. So he's going to come in now. Now, the problem is that they can dodge. The Mutas can essentially, if you're good enough, dodge forever, man. So it looks like He's going to drive him back here. This may allow the Roaches to actually take out that hatchery here.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great play. Now, a good link counterattack here.
I really like that by Impact. That was an important move for him to do to try to, gain some sort of parity during this Mutalisk attack. So he is getting a few drones, but he's lost that fourth base, remaking it immediately. But he is adding Hydras into his army as well. So his ground army is very scary.
Still getting a lot more drones over here. It looks like the Roaches will finally clean that up. Although there's a pretty good stronghold position here that Curious has. It's really, you can't really go around this or they run into your main. And it's hard to get up that area. So we have, Impact is going to expand to the upper right. And Curious has actually very good hold overall here. And look at this. He can even poke in with the Mutas. This is so sexy, Artosis.
Yeah, it really is. And he's following this up with Baneling Speed, which is really cool because Baneling Speed is a good counter to Hydralisk. The Hydras will naturally clump in the back, and if you roll some Banelings on top of them, they blow up in a matter of seconds.
This is pretty sick because this is how you see like a brilliant player play is he sets you up for the loss. He says, all right, you got Mutas, you're going to have to deal with it. Well, what are you going to make? In this case, obviously Hydras. Then he punishes you for that later.
Yeah.
So I think Curious really very likely to win this. And not to mention, on top of that, position-wise, he's like in such a good spot.
Yeah, you can't really do anything against this, right? He's holding the high ground. He can just make a concave if you try to come up. The upgrades are even, so it's not like you have an advantage there. And Impact actually going into a lurker den, so this kind of points towards the fact he might want to play a longer, more defensive game, which he kind of has to due to these Mutas.
Also, I love the fact that Mutas can hit that expansion over there on the left and come over here to defend. I mean, there's like so much that's going right now for Curious. Actually gets that Evo chamber. Does lose a Mutalisk or two. And look at this. He just runs back out. Hello.
Yeah, very defensive position taken for Curious at this fourth base while harassing the fourth of Impact. Gonna lose a few Roaches there, but he has Lings and Banes on the way. So if he can get a connection on these Hydras, that is going to almost instantly end the game.
Impact really starved for opportunity at this point in time. In fact, not even mining from his fourth base, whereas this base already up and running. And frankly, I think that there's one way that you could lose the game. If you lose the Mutas.
Well, the Muta's going to fly through, pick off a few of these very expensive Hydralisks, and continue to harass. Look at that. We don't even have a Spore there at the fourth base as well.
Yeah, really nicely done. And I think Curious to come in here and clinch the win. I don't even know if there's a real counterattack opportunity right now for Impact.
Yeah, I don't think so. They're very even in supply right now. If the Banelings don't do anything, though, we could see Impact turn it because if those Hydras stay alive, they're actually dealing a ton of damage from the back.
Well, he needs to get the Banelings to connect with the Hydras. That's what's key.
Well, right now we do have a Spore being built. He wants to stop him from harassing this fourth base quite so much. But Curious is the one getting +2 range attacks, so that is definitely going to help him out quite a bit here when their main armies do come to blows.
Using the artillery corrosive biles to push his opponent back. Curious still in a great spot here. We may see Curious actually expand to the bottom left in a little bit. He's got a surplus of minerals. Oh, look at that coming in here. Yeah, why not? Get the Roach Warren. Oh my God, we might have just saw the choking move there.
Oh,
he just lost like 10 Banelings.
Yeah, not sure what that actually got done, but we do have more Banelings rolling in against that army, not really finding the Hydras. He's actually fighting against a mostly Hydra Ravager right there.
Whoa, did Curious just bungle this man?
He may have.
That
Impact
was
with a nice move coming around the
really
side.
Really bad, man. Now look at this, though. He's making 11 more Muties.
Oh, 11 more Muties.
Yeah.
Mutes?
Mutes, as they call them. No, this is actually pretty cool. It looks like he wants to just swamp them with air in the hopes that there just is simply not enough nice corrosive biles. As long as he hits those Hydras, he can still do this.
Yeah, like the Hydras are the only line of defense against the Mutas. So even if he loses his ground army, a large enough stack of Mutas can take everything out. Now, he goes after the fourth base with this group he already has.
Now, if he gets the hatch over here, it's still 4 base versus 3 base. And these bases are drying up, by the way, guys. And, yeah, he's going to get it.
Looks like it. Down it goes. The other Hydras were trying to run up there. Weren't quite quick enough, though. And Curious, he continues to keep a lead in this game. In fact, Impact's drone count has gotten really quite low at this point due to that Mutalisk harassment.
Ravagers continuing to hatch here. Curious, really Muta Baneling dependent here. He has not taken his gases at his fourth base, but I guess it's balancing out economically just fine. And I think right now Impact has to do something with this attack or this game is over.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really have that much anti-air, so the Mutas are going to easily take out those Hydras, especially with Banelings chasing down. Look at this, he's trying to spread against that. No, you are not Marines, and down they go. So these Mutas will clean up the rest. And GG.
Game number 1.
All right.
Going to Curious. Can't say I'm too surprised, but I am definitely impressed with the execution there. In that from start to finish, I'm Curious. He looked really solid.
Yeah. I think he's just showing what a veteran he is here in this series, especially in this game number 1. They opened with the same build. They were playing in the same type of way. Impact chose to get a little bit more aggressive. Curious just absorbed the blows. They were in a pretty even spot, but he goes into the Spire and just kind of outplays Impact overall. And Impact, the thing is, I guarantee you, we're watching him play on ladder, in practice games or something, he's going to know that Aspire is coming way earlier than he did that game.
Yeah. Let's see if Impact can play a better game. He might not want to be so aggressive early on. It seems like Curious is so comfortable with the pressure on him that entire time that he just handles it so well. Maybe Impact wants to try to play more of a macro game. You can definitely see how Impact would have 2 accounts top 10 on the ladder, though. That makes sense.
Well, he's a really, really good Zerg, man. He's been up and coming for a while. It takes many years for people to realize their full potential in this game, and I think we're definitely starting to see it out of him. I hope he can fight back here and not get wrecked.
This is game number 2 in today's very first day 1. First match we have here, a best of 5, Impact versus Curious. In the upper right, in the blue, our Zerg player, 1 of 2.
AfreecaTV, Curious.
And he's basically always been one of the very best Zergs in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, he really has. He's always been up there.
Yeah. In the bottom left with a quick pull in the red.
SK텔레콤 T1, Impact.
And again, this is a really fun guy to actually kind of follow. I definitely must suggest to people to watch, I believe it's called State of Play, the documentary about Jaedong specifically, but it's also about Impact.
Thanks for coming to the studio, guys. Welcome. We don't have see Scarlet burrowing back there for a second.
Burrowing, I love it.
We don't have a ton of people down here in Code A days.
It's a decent crowd, though. There's no big favorites here.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was going to say the exact same thing. No, but yeah, it's good to come down here. It's more of a chill day here at the studio.
Yeah, StarCraft and chill.
StarCraft and
what
chill.
Tasis and I like to do more than anything.
That's right. Come over to our Toes' house, StarCraft and chill. GSL and chill. So we got 2 very different builds here. We got to talk about this right away. We got a quick sparring pool into Baneling's nest, and it looks like Impact is going to Curious is going to double down on serious aggression here.
Yeah, Impact is going
Impact
a little bit. They both have red lines.
Yeah, this happens every time we start, if we haven't canceled it. So there's red lines on the left and the right. That was throwing me off. If you look in the center to coordinate colors, Curious is blue, Z1, Impact is red, Z7. I'm almost saying that for me and not you guys because I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. But okay, so Impact has decided to get super aggressive here. Curious hasn't been too greedy, though. He is still making a few drones, so he could be caught off guard. Notice that Impact is pooling Lings in his main base to hide this, and he sends out the Lings at such a time that you would think this is a normal build, and now Curious realizes that, in fact, it is not, and he's going to lose some Lings on their way back home.
So let's see how much damage can be done here early on in this attack right now, because Impact is definitely going to have to do something. Or Curious could be in good shape. Ideally, you want to get rid of drones here. Get a queen, that's good.
Yeah.
But, it's really all about the drones.
Getting the hatch can be all right as well.
Sure.
If you can power that down. It looks like he has decided he wants to go for that. So.
This is the safest aggressive route you can go for. Not everybody does this, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see how he follows up with it. The thing is, this is going to put his hatch way ahead, but don't forget his drones are well behind right now.
That's
so
right.
that's kind of the issue that he's contending with. But he still has his Lings, he still has Banes, and he has a potential to catch up on those drones by doing some more damage.
Well positioned here is Curious. Let's see what the next move is going to be. He does eventually have to secure that hatchery on the low ground. Is there any merit to, after you hold this, trying to take the hatch on the outside instead of the inside?
For Curious, you mean?
Yeah. Is there,
sometimes you'll see a Zerg do that if they want to double expand.
Yeah.
You make that down there very, very quickly.
That was close.
Yeah, almost getting something with that Baneling, but that's sometimes the way that the Zerg who lost a hatchery will want to try to come back, is something like a double expansion. It matters how Curious wants to play this. Does he just take a single expansion, knowing that now his production is way behind? Like, he knows that by the time he's starting his up again, the natural is finishing up for Impact. Like, you know, that's some obvious information for him. So that's kind of a painful thing to play from behind like that sometimes.
Yeah, definitely annoying. As we continue on, we have some more gases coming down here right now for Impact. Let's see if he actually goes for a quick layer here on 2 bases.
Yeah, they both definitely are getting pretty quick layers,
Yeah.
a little bit quicker on Impact. But Curious has more gas at the moment.
Well, you know, he did get that a little bit faster here, so that's definitely the fact that he can focus on that a little bit more is going to be pretty handy coming up here in this game. Let's go ahead and see as the texts come out. Spire, I'm assuming probably the same is going to be here for both of our Zergs.
You would definitely think so.
Yeah, on 2 bases like this. And so right now we're in a game where they're both mirroring each other for the time being.
Yeah,
They got their different ways. The real story, though, is going to be in the drone count here.
And the drone count does go to Impact right now, whereas they have very similar army sizes. So probably a slight advantage there. And, you know, Spire's like a few seconds faster as well. And this just kind of happens because he did get that hatchery, and Curious didn't take any risks to come back, which, you know, that's kind of the interesting part, right? Is that the right choice to take 0 risks here? I think that he probably looks at this and says, I've got this. I'm better than this kid, especially on TV. And, you know, if we do kind of the same thing, I'm slightly behind, I will win over time.
Yeah, I think that's his biggest strength as well here. I mean, he has so much experience. I mean, how many times, if we could actually add this up, how many times has Curious actually been in a GSL studio?
Oh, God.
I mean, it's got to be an insanely high number. This is like a second home to him.
Yeah, I mean, we have bricks in this studio that haven't been here as many times as Curious, and they're part of the building.
Wow. Toast. Somebody should write down everything you say, man.
Is that right?
We got them both going for armor here. This is typical. In the ZVZ, Muta versus Muta, you both get armor over attack.
As long as it's not you writing down everything I say, because it'll all be misspelled and messy. No one will have any idea what it says.
I have doctor handwriting. I don't have that beautiful girl handwriting that you love. In ZVZ,